Hi, I'm Greg Vadney, the Executive Director of the Rahr West Art Museum, and I want to welcome you to the latest live stream of our community portrait project. The Rahr West Art Museum is very happy to be putting this entire project together, this program together, with help from many people. I want to thank Coolest Coast for helping us to put on the live stream itself. Thanks to Art Bridges, who helped to finance this entire project, along with many other community and educational projects during this really difficult time. You know, we'd love to have you here at the Rahr West, enjoying spending time in the mansion, viewing our galleries, and seeing wonderful artists at work, like our artist today, Sonia Vasquez. We hope to have you back here soon, but in the meantime, we're very pleased to be able to bring live streaming events and other digital content like this to you. This particular project is a really interesting one. You know, this year, 2020, was to be the 150th, and I guess it still is, the 150th anniversary of the city of Manitowoc. And there was a lot planned that we didn't get to. But one of the things that we at the Rahr West recognized is reflecting on 150 years of who we are as a city, not the buildings, not even a wonderful mansion like this, but who we are as people. The diversity of Manitowoc, the diversity of backgrounds, of the diversity of ideas. And we're so happy to be able to do this project. Now, part of this project is what Sonia is working on right now, portraits of people that she's working on to kind of magnify all of these voices in Manitowoc. But you can take part in this as well. The Rahr West Art Museum has produced art kits, which include a small portrait paper for you yourself to do a self-portrait. So you can pick these up at the Rahr West. You can pick them up at any time. We have a drop box outside and a pickup box outside for you to pick one of these up. And it's just a simple piece of rag paper that you can use. You can do a painting on this type of paper. It would be great for sketching. You can use graphite, a pencil. You can use wax or crayon. You can use pretty much any type of ink or paint on this. It'll hold it. And you can do your self-portrait on one side and on the back side. And this is important because we want you to be creative. I know many of you out there, I know myself, when I think of how I would do a self-portrait, and I promise you I will, we're always worried about, like, what are people going to think when they see? Is it going to be too basic, too simple, too cartoony? Part of this project is for you to explore your creativity. And it is not a contest. We won't be judging winners and losers. It is about expressing who you are and using this time period, a time period where, frankly, we're all reflecting on what it means to be alive and what it means to be part of Manitowoc, and using that to inspire your creativity and to create. So using that on this paper. On the other side, a simple question we want you to answer. And the question is, how do you feel about your identity in relation to Manitowoc? And we want to collect all of these, not only to showcase the various creativity of people, but also as a glimpse in a point in time, at the 150th year birthday of our city, who we are as people and how we identify ourselves as members of the Manitowoc community. So we ask you to stop by the Rahr West at any time, pick up one of these, fill it out, answer the question, and then you can return it. And we want you to return it by January the 31st. And in 2021, we're going to be gathering all of these and exhibiting them in a large exhibit here at the Rahr West that we're not sure exactly when we'll get you back here in person. But when we do get here in person, we'll be able to showcase all of the wonderful varied artwork and this self-identity of the people of Manitowoc. Well, that was a very long introduction, but we want you to participate in this, and we want you to participate today. So please, if you have any questions, comments, share them on the Facebook page, and we'll make sure that either I can answer them, staff can answer them, Sonia can answer them. Thank you to Katie, who's sitting for us today. Maybe you have a question for her. I know I do. And we're going to get to all of that. But we'll start off, again, thanking Sonia Vasquez, our artist, and Katie, our sitter, for taking part in this today. And we do have, I mean, a few questions for those of you who have maybe tuned into this before and have seen Sonia at work. There are a few questions that have come up every time, so I want to knock a few of those questions out with Sonia. So, Sonia, can you talk a little bit about what type of paper that you're using for this?
So, the paper that I'm using is, I can pull one out here, is Arch's oil primed paper. So it's prepared and ready for oil paint. Just because of the way that I like to work, I prime it myself as well. So I've put on 3 different layers of gesso on top of the paper, and it just kind of helps the paint stay on top of the surface and not sink in too much. So it's also really good for any other type of, pretty much any other type of medium you want to work in. So watercolor, acrylic, pencil, you know, any pastels, charcoal, anything like that.
And is that the same paper that we have in the kits?
Sorry, what was that?
Is that the same type of Arches paper that we have in the kits?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure
Yes.
it is. And just so those people out there know that when you pick up a kit, you're going to get the same type of paper that Sonia is working on today.
Yep, same exact paper. The only difference, you know, for me, like I said, is that I prime it 3 more times. So anybody's welcome to, you know, do that themselves as well. It just helps your medium kind of stay on the surface there.
And you're doing, you had already mentioned, but you work in oil for this. Mm-hmm. How did you kind of grow into doing portraiture in oil? Did you start out doing maybe graphite or doing things in other media and then kind of gravitating towards oil? Or did you start experimenting with painting in oil and kind of more gravitate towards portrait work?
So I guess it depends on how far we go back, really, but I would say that I mainly kind of started with, you know, with drawing, and it wasn't until high school that I first picked up oil paint. Luckily, I had a wonderful teacher, Vicki Molitor, and she allowed me to use oil paint, even though it's sometimes restricted in schools because it does have toxicity to it. But yeah, that was the first time I picked up oil paint, and I just fell in love with it and worked with it ever since. I've dabbled in, you know, some other types of paint too, but I think oil is it just has a different quality to it that I absolutely love, and that is the reason why I will likely forever stick with it. And
do you continue to study art more in both formal and informal ways? How do you continue to kind of like, I guess, technically grow?
So what I do, especially now because of COVID, which is kind of a blessing of COVID, is that a lot of artists that I like and that I follow, and even you know, ateliers around the United States and around the world, are doing a lot of online content right now. So online workshops, Instagram lives, things like that, YouTube. A lot of online video is kind of where I'm learning a lot of what I have learned in traditional type of work. So yeah, and that's kind of where I continue to grow from. I do get books a lot, but I'm the type of person that gets a book and kind of reads it for like a week and then forgets about it.
Yeah.
But the video format works a lot better for me.
And it does seem like a lot of people are expanding into video format, almost forced to do so now. But like you said, really the silver lining in all this. I'm going to let you continue a little bit. For those of you out there who are tuning in, please keep your questions and comments coming. And we'll work on getting those questions to Sonia, or if you have questions about the museum, hopefully we can answer them too. And again, for those of you just joining us, this is the Rahr West live stream of our community portrait project. We want to thank Coolest Coast for bringing this to you, and also our friends at Art Bridges for helping to fund this project.
So just to describe a little bit of what I'm doing here is just kind of getting a block in of the lights and darks that are on Katie's face, which kind of helps me just map out sort of where things are, get an idea if my proportions are correct or incorrect, and correcting those, and then going from there. All right. You can break, Katie.
Yeah, that alarm gives Katie a little bit of a break during the course of this, in the course of this live stream. You know, we're really, really thankful not only for the work that Sonia has done for this, but for many members of our community who have been sitting as models for her work and who will continue to do so. Katie, I know you're not mic'd up, but have you ever sat for a portrait before?
I have not. Not for a portrait. I guess in essence I've done like quote unquote modeling. Like I've sat and I've had my pictures taken.
So you've done some modeling,
yes,
yeah.
But I haven't actually had my picture drawn or a live drawing of myself.
But never. Are you excited about seeing the final?
I am, because you know everyone has a different perspective, and I've seen myself for so long, and it's kind of interesting to see what someone else's perspective, like what I look like to somebody else, kind of.
It's got to be a really interesting thing to see yourself through somebody else's eyes in this. And one of the things I wanted to mention. The first few live streams we've done, essentially Sonia has been working right from blank canvas. And in the next few live streams, we're going to start to take it a few steps beyond that and we'll talk a little bit today, but we'll also showcase some of the extra steps. Now, during the course of an hour, it's pretty remarkable how fleshed out, if you will, the portrait ends up becoming, but it's not finished. So we're going to take you in the next few live streams to a little bit more forward in the process and showcase some of the finishing touches that a portrait artist puts on. One of the things that I know oftentimes you might see during the course of Sonia's work and other artists is the use of the brush for visual. And you know, Sonia, one question that maybe a non-artist might have would be holding your brush up. It seems like it's almost a cliche thing of an artist to hold the brush up, to measure things. Can you describe a little bit of what that technique is?
Sure. So yeah, so when I'm holding my brush up like this and kind of, you know, analyzing, and I mark with my thumb, so a certain amount of space on my brush, and mark measurements basically of the face. So then I can take a measurement and I can be like, okay, her forehead is this length, and then it's the same amount of length from her eyebrows to her nose as it is from the top of her forehead to her eyebrows. So it's all comparative measurement, so that I can understand that, okay, so I know that this length is going to be the same as this length on my portrait on here. And everybody varies, but the kind of rule of thumb is that the face is in threes, so the forehead is the same length as the eyebrows to the nose, and then the nose to the chin, to the bottom of the chin. It's roughly the same amount of space between there. So that's kind of a good starting point of mapping out the face and understanding, you know, where things are in comparison to my drawing here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. And again, just as a blanket thank you to all the work that you're doing to help us with this community portrait project. And for those of you out there who are just tuning in, we want to thank Coolest Coast for helping us put the live stream together. Obviously to Sonia, our painter, and Katie, our model, and also to Art Bridges, who through a generous grant funded this entire project. And the project includes work that you can do. The Rahr West has art kits as part of this community portrait project. And we ask you to come to the Rahr West. You could pick them up. There's a pickup box outside the Rahr West, even though we're closed to the public. You could stop by anytime, day or night, pick up an art kit or multiple art kits and share them with others. They include a small piece of Arch's art paper that you're able to do a self-portrait on. You can do that in whatever media you want to. You can paint it, you can draw it, you can sketch it, you can use your crayons, you can do whatever you want. We want you to bring that back to the Rahr West by January the 31st and submit that along with the answer to the question, how do you self-identify here in Manitowoc? It's part of the 150th anniversary celebration here in Manitowoc. And for this community portrait project, we're asking you, how do you see yourself as part of this community? How do you react to Manitowoc? And we want to collect all of those, and then in 2021, we plan to exhibit all of them. So you'd be able to take part in a community art exhibit by submitting these art kit self-portraits. So we welcome any questions during this live stream about the process, about what Sonia's doing, about the project in its entirety, or any questions you have about the Rahr West Art Museum. You know, a question that comes up often, we were talking a little bit about using the brushes for measuring purposes, but what type of brushes do you use, Sonia?
So I use kind of a variety. I usually start out with a hog bristle just to kind of get the mapping in, because they're a little bit less precise, and they make me a little bit less precise because I try to be not too fussy, I guess, as they say in the beginning of the painting. I'm not looking at doing details and such, so I like to start with a hog bristle, which means that the bristles are a little bit more rough. They're not smooth. They're not very precise. I mean, you can get them precise, but so these right now are Blick Master Stroke bristles. This is a Filbert number 2. But I also have here is Sean Cheatham's collaboration with Treacle brushes. Sean Cheatham is another artist who I greatly admire his work and have studied from one of the workshops he's done. And then I also have this is kind of a mix of brushes, but majority of them are Rosemary & Co., which is a company that's out of the UK that does brushes, and they are phenomenal. They're the best brushes I've ever used. So I highly recommend those if you're looking for brushes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the questions that has come through the live stream was about participating in the self-portrait project. Someone had asked, is there an age limit to it? And the answer is no, there's not an age limit. Honestly, again, to get a full sense of our current community here in Manitowoc, we want it to be open to anyone. So there isn't an age limit. You know, if you want to share with family members and have each one of your family members do a portrait project, a self-portrait, and then, you know, talk about, because I'm sure each member of the family has a different feeling about what it means to them to be part of our Manitowoc community. I think that's a great way for families to talk about, you know, what it means to be here in Manitowoc, for generations who have lived here, for people who are new to the community and experiencing it with fresh eyes. I think it's really important for those connections to be made through discussion. So absolutely, any age group, any age is very welcome to participate in this project. I should mention too, when we first kind of conceived of this project, we had hoped that you would be able to walk through and see the process going on and be able to kind of look over the shoulder, instead of virtually over the shoulder, but actually look over the shoulder of Sonia while she was working. I'm sure she would love that if people just one after another were wandering behind her. But we're really thankful that Coolest Coast was able to come in and help us digitally with sharing this live stream using their technology. It's been really, really wonderful for us to be able to put these on. We intend to continue to do this not only while we're closed, but in the future to supplement once we reopen. It also is an opportunity for us to use the historic Rahr Mansion as a setting and kind of be able to take over the mansion to create a little studio space for ourselves. I know a lot of people this time of year are often coming in or getting ready to come into the Rahr Mansion for Christmas in the mansion. It doesn't look like we're going to be doing it in the sense that we've done it in the past. We do have some plans to be able to do some decorations in here. But also, one of the things that I really wanted to highlight as an aside from the Rahr West is a plan that's kind of been in place for about 35 years, and that is the introduction of an elevator to this mansion. We finally have received the funding to be able to do that, and I'm excited to be able to just share with you that we hope to have a completed elevator that will have service to the entire Rahr Historic Mansion by January of 2022. And certainly in the year 2022, we'll have an operational elevator. So for all of you who have, through the years, enjoyed the historic mansion, maybe over time it's been more difficult to take the staircase. For those of you who are unable to take staircases, we're really excited to be able to bring this elevator project to fruition. It was the early 1990s that we started to do design drawings, and it took a very, very long time with a lot of stops and starts. So we're really, really excited that the wheels are turning on this, and we hope that you'll be able to visit us in a future Christmas in the Mansion where all of the floors will be accessible. Getting back to the art and the painting, you had talked a little bit about some of the artists that inspire you, Sonia. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about who you're following right now? Like, who are the artists that are inspiring you at the moment?
Oh, so right now I've been watching a lot of the workshops from I'm trying to remember his name. Louis something. I can't remember his name. But Louis something. And then Brock Larson, who actually has an atelier with his father in Duluth, Michigan, or Minnesota. And he was doing some drawing workshops with like a studio space thing that they have in North Carolina. So I was watching one of his workshops, and that was pretty inspiring for drawing wise. But otherwise, a common inspiration for me usually is Alex Venezia, and I watch a lot of his workshops. He's a young painter. He's like 25 or so, and self-taught, so I like taking inspiration from him a lot because I haven't studied at an atelier. I would like to eventually, but I think he is sort of empowering for me as somebody that hasn't necessarily been classically trained, but can still learn and teach yourself. So yeah, he's a big inspiration for me.
That leads me into another question. You just mentioned that you would love to do an atelier. Mm-hmm. what are your goals as an artist, and what do you foresee as where you want to grow as an artist, and what you'd like to do
For
to become?
Sure. So I think, just keeping momentum, I guess, as an artist, and doing shows, keeping the workflow going, being in exhibitions. Like I said, I would love to study in an atelier. The issue is that they're quite expensive, and you don't get state aid funding for them because you don't get a degree. So, but yeah, so I think eventually I'd like to open up my own gallery. Maybe even possibly teach in some ways. The dream is kind of to have my own gallery space that's focused on more traditional artwork, and also space for artists to create and have exhibitions and have workshops. So yeah.
Well, those things are, all of those things, and certainly galleries, I think, are a necessary part. The Rahr West has exhibit space, but a vibrant arts community demands that we have multiple places, and varied places for artists to be able to work, create, and show their artwork. So, that's something we can support, and anybody out there who feels the need. Private funding is a wonderful thing for artists, so you can either make sure that you're supporting your artists through donations to arts organizations. Buying artwork is huge. Buy artwork from the artists that you know. Buy and support the artists that you love, and make sure that they can continue to do that wonderful work. And also make sure that you support public funding for the arts. Make sure that you're a voice out there that supports state, federal, and also don't forget about local art support. Get out there, talk to your elected officials, and tell them that you believe that the arts are important enough that dollars need to be spent, public dollars need to be spent to support the arts that make our community what it is. Once again, for those of you just joining, this is the Community Arts Project live stream. We want to thank the Coolest Coast. We want to thank Art Bridges for the grant funding that made this possible, and we want to thank our artist, Sonia Vasquez, and our sitter, our model, Katie. I'll be back in to ask some more questions in a few minutes. Keep the questions and comments coming, and we'll be able to share those with everybody who's tuning in. And if you have any questions for Sonia or for Katie or for me, please keep them coming. Thanks.
Yeah, to piggyback a little bit off of what Greg was just talking about, and a little bit of a shameless self-plug here. I do make commission work, so I'm happy to supply you with all your Christmas gifts this year. And I think it's, like I said, I think it's really important, not only just because, I'm an artist and a local artist, but for, it doesn't matter if you come to me or go to anybody else, but I think it's really important, especially during the time of COVID, to support small businesses and support artists, because these are the ones that are really struggling. So, if you can help it, maybe avoid Black Friday today or this week, next week, and stay safe and support local art instead. having a little transition of a brush now, just to get some smaller spaces in there for a little bit more detail. Katie, you can take a break. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, good.
Nope. While Katie takes another break, I want to welcome you again to the live stream. Today's live stream, we want to thank the Coolest Coast for helping us to put this live stream together from the Rahr West Art Museum in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. And thank you to Art Bridges. It was through a generous Art Bridges grant that everything in this project was funded. Right now, our artist, Sonia Vasquez, and our model, Katie Seifert, right?
Yes.
Last name Seifert. Are finishing up. We've got probably about 15 minutes left. Please continue with your questions and comments. This is a question that I guess it's probably for both of you, though Katie doesn't have a mic, but I can relay any answer that you might have. First, Sonia, did you grow up here in Manitowoc, or are you from this Manitowoc County area, or did you come to the Manitowoc area later in life?
I am, yes, mostly from this area. I did grow up a little bit in Reedsville, but I moved here pretty young, so I would say.
And Katie?
I call Manitowoc home.
Yeah,
so.
Manitowoc is kind of lifetime home.
Yeah.
Katie, for you, did you grow up here in Manitowoc?
I did grow up here in Manitowoc.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been here for 27 years, camping out.
27 years, I'd say that's yeah, definitely counts as being born and bred, right? Or at least most of your lifetime. I'm actually from outside the area. I'm relatively new to the Manitowoc area. I guess all of this leads to the question of like, what do you, all of you, see as the positive things that Manitowoc brings for the arts and like arts and culture community, and what are the things that you'd like to see Manitowoc do better? What would you like to see Manitowoc increase, or what can they improve upon? And I guess I'll start with you, Sonia, and then somehow we'll relay Katie's answer.
Sure. Yeah, I think, Manitowoc's done really well lately with getting murals put up, and I think murals are really important for cities and making them develop and making people want to stay here, making them look beautiful. I know that it really makes me appreciate the city I live in more, having public art. And, but I would say, I think just having more art spaces. The Rahr is wonderful, but more is better, I think having more galleries, having some other spaces that, really encourage people to participate in art making. And I think, that's a big part of why I would like to eventually have my own gallery space. Is because I know that when I was a teenager, I really strived for something like that. I wish more stuff like that existed around here. So not only for teenagers, but for adults too, something for adults to do besides go to bars.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my long answer.
Now I'm going to absolutely interrupt the process by having Katie answer that when she's supposed to be staying still and being a model for this painting.
Well, me and Sonia come from we're in the same art area, but we're two different medias. I do a lot of stage stuff. I do a lot of musicals. I love to sing, and I do a lot of acting. And I haven't been doing it as much, but I do try to get as involved as I can.
I was going to introduce that, but I figured you would be able to speak to it a lot better. But for those of you who can't hear because of the Katie not being mic'd, Katie is a performance artist, works on stage, acting, singing. Very wonderful singer, I would mention. And the performing arts, along with visual arts right now in Manitowoc, is such a huge struggle because we can't get groups of people together to see them. So I had said before, we were talking about supporting artists, and performing artists are included in that, making sure that we're supporting our performing arts in our community.
Definitely, and I'm going to just shameless plug something because I have been a part of the Maskers community for a little bit, and they are doing an online showing of the Spoon River project. There is multiple links on Facebook. Claire Ann LaViolet, I believe, is the director of that show.
She is.
And they are doing a live showing. I did see it last night, and it was very nice. So if you guys are bored or have the extra $10 to spare just to support the Maskers community and all of the local singers and art actors, that would be a good opportunity to get out there and just support a little bit too.
Yeah, and again, for anybody who wasn't able to hear as it came through, the Maskers, who are our neighbors just north of the Rahr West Art Museum, a wonderful 95-year-old, I believe, performing arts group is doing a digital performance of, what was the name of the show? The Spoon River Project, which they are doing live performances, but also if you would, please check them out. The Maskers here in Manitowoc, the Maskers have, like I said, they've been around for 95 years, a performing arts institution here, and someone that Katie knows very well. Katie's worked on projects with them in the past. They are a wonderful organization that you can reach out and help out, and also enjoy, because they're still creating even during these times. Katie, anything? What kinds of things do you think to yourself? Boy, I really wish we could get here in Manitowoc.
There are a couple of there are organizations for young actors. Peter Quint's Treehouse Theater. There's Maskers for adults, but because in this time I feel like there should be more shows driven for diversity. Just not so much to push the uncomfortable point of it all, but to share like a different story. Like everyone, there are musicals that are, everyone has a happy ending. The prince gets the princess and things like that. But there are real things that do happen outside of the fantasy things, and I feel like Manitowoc would have a good opportunity, especially now, to get some of those diverse stories or like even monologues, things like that, just to get a different perspective in different areas like that.
That's great. And that kind of leads back into us at the Rahr West with this project, wanting to make sure that our community takes part. And we want to open it up to diverse points of view, diverse self-image, diverse ideas of what it means to be a part of Manitowoc and how your identity is tied to us as a larger community. And that's why we ask you, if you get the opportunity and you want to, grab an art kit. We have them outside the Rahr West Art Museum in a pickup box. You can pick these kits up. Inside, you'll get a little bit of information to guide you in the process, and a piece of Arch's art paper in which you can create your own self-portrait. Anything will do. Make sure, as I heard somebody say recently, and it really stuck with me, especially in these times, is that creativity should be normal. Creativity is not something that's only unique to a few artists in our community. Creativity is part of all of us. So make sure you normalize creativity. And you can do so by taking part in this. Create your self-portrait on this Arches paper. And on the back of the paper, we have a question for you to answer. And it's about your identity here in Manitowoc. And we want to collect these. So we want you to return them by January the 31st. And we're going to exhibit these small pieces of paper, your small self-portraits, and also have it as a collection of who we thought we were in 2020, 2021. It's an important part of our history. You know, as somebody who's been studying history for years, I know that the times that we look back, when we look at the records of Manitowoc, we have such a limited amount because people don't necessarily think, hey, we should be collecting our thoughts, our feelings about Manitowoc. So it's only in these small times that you can go back as a historian and look. So maybe in 1950 there was a collection of stuff. Maybe in 1910 there was a collection of stuff. Just a little snapshot. We want to create that snapshot today and have you all be a part of it. So make sure that you grab these, make sure that you are part of this. So that 100 years from now, when somebody at the Rahr West Art Museum, and it's not going to be me, when somebody at the Rahr West Art Museum is collecting and looking through the history, they hear your voice. They hear all of our voices, and they understand a little bit better of what it meant to be living in Manitowoc right now. So we hope that you'll take part in this. Anybody is welcome to, any age. You can pick these kits up at the Rahr West Art Museum. Again, I want to thank Sonia. I want to thank Katie for sitting all this time. It's got to be a unique experience to have to sit still, especially when somebody's asking you questions for a full hour. So thanks to both of you guys. I know we still have a little bit of time to close up, but I do want to get my thank yous in before we sign off. And big thank you goes to Coolest Coast for broadcasting this for us and for helping us with this live stream with all their technical expertise. And of course, we don't do this without Art Bridges and our Art Bridges grant that funded this community portrait project. And again, I want to stress, this community portrait project is not just this live stream, it's not just the wonderful work that Sonia does, but it's also something that you do. So we ask you to come, pick up one of these kits, and contribute your voice to the project. Thank you.